And the guy after the game is like, why are you filming anyway? You'll never be famous. You will never be famous. Just give it up. Yeah. And obviously we just laughing at him. So we called the episode.
I'm laughing at your impression. Your impression's good. I don't even know the guy.
We called the episode You'll Never Be Famous. And every time we've played them, we've used that same clip.
Hello and welcome to Series 2 of Who Says You Can't, the podcast from EE that celebrates those who fly in the face of convention. I'm Rick Edwards, and in this new series, I'll be talking to people who didn't wait for an invite to create their dreams, people who have used all the digital tools at their disposal to make it, and who took "you can't do that" as a challenge, and just did it anyway. Each guest has handed over their phone for me to have a good old look through, and I'll be asking them questions based on what I dig up. If you want to get a peek at what I find, you can see them on EE's YouTube channel now. Today's guest is Don Strapzy of the SE Dons, taking Sunday League to the big leagues. Who says you can't? Don Strapzy, thanks for joining us. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, Rick. Man, yourself?
Yeah, very good, man. Looking forward to this. You started out as a rapper, so where did the idea of starting a Sunday League football team come in?
Yeah, I've always played Sunday League football. Football was always my first passion, so I've always loved football. And literally, I wasn't playing because I was so busy and I couldn't commit to playing Saturday League football. And playing Saturday obviously takes up your whole Saturday. Yeah. And it requires training in the week, etc., with them kind of things. But yeah, we started it back in 2014, realistically, just for me to play football. Nothing about I'm going to do this with it or do that with it. I just wanted to play again. That's where it started.
Because I've got an Instagram post here from you from 2014. Made a Sunday League football team. First training session tonight. Feels good to be back on the grass. Season kicks off Sunday. Hashtag SE Dons. Now, you make it sound quite easy.
Yeah.
But, like, I know how difficult it is to get out, like, 5 people to play in my five-a-side team.
I was just about to say, I think that training session is probably about 4 or 5.
Yeah.
yeah. I just tried to make it glamorous with the tweet.
But it works now, though.
It works now.
I knew all along.
Yeah.
Was it all mates and people that you played with before that you got together?
Yeah, that's what I mean. You're right. I was pretty fortunate. It was quite easy for me because I've got such a big network of friends where I live. So it was pretty much, all right, cool, we want to start a team. We got the paper out, wrote down a bunch of names, got them all on the phone, they're all up for it. Cool, we got training tomorrow, boys. I think 5 people turned up. The rest was like, just tell me when the game is. We're good to go. Do you know what I mean? And that's it. We just ran with it like that. And they loved it and we managed to stay consistent.
How was the first game?
We lost 1-0, I actually remember, to a team called Manorwood.
Did you film it?
We didn't film the first one, nah. We started, our first game would have been, I think, the 2014-15 season. Mm-hmm. We started filming in 2017. So we'd done about 2 seasons without filming.
But still, same kind of vibe?
It was exactly the same. It was exactly the same. It was still the whole same banter, taking it way more serious than we should have. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But that's what makes it fun, though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Still keeping the top goal scorer tally, arguing with refs and that. You know what I mean? It's not changed. It really hasn't changed. We've just got better.
The thing about Sunday League is, like, I've played Sunday League, as you know, so many people in the UK have. And when I think about it, I imagine, okay, teams playing in a park, pitch not great, maybe a bit of a slope. In terms of supporters, old man and his dog, maybe like a girlfriend if you're lucky.
Yeah.
But then I look at this pitch invasion.
Yeah.
A Sunday League team. Genuinely, I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
There's hundreds of people.
It's thousands. There was thousands.
It's mental.
Yeah. I mean, we were saying after, we should have got in touch with Guinness Book of Records and that. Do you know what I mean? This was in April, just gone. Cup final, Paul Picard Cup final against one of our rival teams, 2 best teams in the league, us and them. And I think there was like 3,000 people that it turned out as 2,800 or something silly like that. Crazy, man.
You can't have imagined that you were going to get to that point when you started this team in 2014.
No. I'd be lying if I said I would imagine that. Because like I said, it originally started as I just want to play football with my friends and to see what we can do, see can we win a cup or 2. I mean, I always think big and I've always been ambitious, and so I would never write something off, but I can't sit here and say that that's what I imagined. So it's crazy.
How do the other teams respond? Because everyone else is just playing Sunday League with normal Sunday League, and then you lot descend.
Yep.
And it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, when we first started bringing out the cameras, like the other teams, it's always a bit of banter. Like, bring your camera out, all this rubbish. The majority of them respond well, and I got to thank them for that because we give each other grief. Do you know what I mean? Then you get some teams that are a bit negative towards it. No one's ever had a problem with it. It's just that some teams, they just don't seem to like what we represent, really, kind of thing. They may be a bit old school. Do you know what I mean? But other than that, 95% of teams, it's all love. It's all positive.
I'm watching it and thinking, I mean, I'd love to play against you guys because then, yeah, exactly, you get to watch back your, it's cool.
Yeah.
And also, I think what's really nice is that when you do a lot of the commentary where you're not playing, and it's funny, but also you do give respect to the opposition players. Like you'll say, this guy, like player, and you maybe know some of their names. You'll be like, this guy been playing well all game, giving us difficulty out here. Obviously, there's banter towards the other team, but it's also very inclusive.
Yeah, no, I try to because it's true. At the end of the day, the fact of the matter is it's always going to be a biased view realistically because I'm probably going to show more clips from the Dons than I show of the other team. But I always try to be fair. Like you said, we do give the other team banter. I do in my commentary. So I think the best thing I can always do is highlight a good player because the standard we play is quite good as well. So I'm always trying to be fair in my commentary.
So why is it then, do you think, that SE Dons have managed to attract this massive fan base in a way that, I mean, as far as I know, no other Sunday League team has ever done?
Sunday League football is a big culture in England, in the UK. So I think even before I used to have a football team, I used to go on YouTube and tap Sunday League tackles, Sunday League arguments, Sunday League, you know what I mean? Sunday League goals.
Spicy.
You're laughing because you've probably done it.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? So I think you're always going to have that attraction because it's Sunday League football. But I also think we're very authentic with what we do. It's not gimmicky. You can see that we will say what we want to say. A lot of reality TV or professional football, you're never going to really get an interview from their captain saying, you know what, yeah, we came here, we worked harder than them, they don't want it, we're going to turn them over, this is our cup, all that. You can't do it, you know, where we can. We say what we want. We're bringing passion and we're bringing the competitive nature to Sunday League football. And I think people want to see it. Like, I remember, I never forget the Roy Keane and Patrick Vieira argument in the tunnel. Like, I loved it. Yeah. Gary Neville kissing a badge at the Kop end. For us, we've got that with, we never lose to Peckham. This is our ground, all this kind of stuff. Slapping your chest every time you score a goal. I think it's people are engaged with the authenticity of it and the realness of it, the stories behind it, the message that's going on. And I think people are they've taken to it. We spend time with supporters. We don't even call them fans, we call them family. Do you know what I mean? We spend time with them. We take pictures with them. We speak to them. You can come on a sideline and stand. I've got like 8-year-olds standing next to me when I'm giving it to the ref. Do you know what I mean? and like
they're learning young.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So you can be there and see us. You're gonna see me walking through Lewisham. You're gonna see the boys in your local. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's a big factor. I think that
it's connection.
There's a connection. People can feel the connection and they relate to it. They relate to what we're doing.
It is interesting, actually, because at this time, like you say, professional football is so policed and monitored and carefully sort of crafted. So polished, isn't it? Which I guess that growing up, it didn't feel that was the case.
Yeah.
So now you're kind of providing an alternative.
Of course.
Just like a different way of supporting a football team where you can really feel like you're part of it.
Yeah. I think that's it. I think also, look, there's a lot of money in the game now, like sponsorships, etc. You know, you can't say or do certain things. You know, we talk about some of the footballers that I speak to and they love the Dons, but I couldn't get them in a shirt, do you know what I mean? Because of whatever. And I think with us, we're able to do what we want and say what we want, and we're not going to change that. Like I had a sponsorship offer from a gambling company that wanted to give us good money, which would have helped me out massively over a 6-month period. But we refused it because it's not what we want to. We're not trying to promote that. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm a man who grew up watching professional football, and I'm a Man United fan, loved it. But as I've got older, I've just pulled away because I just feel like it's too, like you said, it's just polished. It's so polished. And as human beings, you know, we're drawn to drama, whether we like it or not. And I think it's just so polished that I sort of know what you're going to say. Like when they ask you, how did the game go? I know what they're going to say. You're going to score a hat-trick at a rival's ground. And they're going to ask you, how did it feel? You know, the boys, they worked hard and I'll give credit to them.
You're
do you
not
know
really
what I mean?
about me.
Yeah. So I'm just not...
Glad to chip in.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So you look at a Conor McGregor, why was we so drawn to him? Because he's just outspoken.
Feels raw, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's raw. I think that's the right word. And I think with football now, it's just very polished. They're fantastic players. No one can ever take that away. But it's just boring, really. Do you know what I mean? I find myself struggling to watch a whole game.
When you first started thinking, okay, I'm going to start filming stuff, what was the aim?
I do music as well.
Yeah.
I needed to find a way to interact with my supporters musically. I wasn't really one for social media. Like I think back then it was Facebook and Instagram and stuff. But it's funny because I'm on camera all the time. I'm always a bit funny with camera sometimes. I'm not really fussed about being on Snapchat and all these kind of things. So I wasn't really interacting. I wasn't tweeting much. I wasn't doing much with my supporters. And so they only heard my music. So originally I said to Chris, look, I've got a Sunday League team, and it's banter. Like it's sick. Like, come and film the games, because then what originally it would be like a vlog that I can put out once a week, and just so the supporters can kind of get to know me. So that was the original plan, a way to just basically show my character and interact with people, because a lot of my music was based on football anyway. A lot of my punchlines and metaphors are football based, so it just made sense for people to want to see Don Strapzy play football. But it just grew from that, and I quickly realised, it's not about me. Like, I'm the face of it, but there's 16 people in this change room, all their own individual characters. All right, they're not as known as much as me, but it just connected well. Like, I put it out there and people related to it, and it just grew. But originally it was for me to connect with my audience.
So are you still balancing the music and Don's now?
Yeah, so that's a good one, because my music had to take a back step for a couple of years. The start of the new year, I've got back in with my management, and we're going to start working on the EP. So the music is going to come again. It's just it hasn't been as consistent as the Dons, but at the same time, the Dons has allowed me to sort of rebrand myself, and they both help each other. When I put music out, it benefits the Dons. When I'm putting the Dons out, it benefits the music. So it works hand in hand. It's about marrying them both.
Along the way with Don's, have you come across people who have not been into it? Doubters, basically?
Yeah, of course. And it's funny because one of our most biggest episodes is called You'll Never Be Famous. We beat a team called Bickley. We beat them 3-2, and they just don't like us. They're a bit old-fashioned. They just don't like us. Every time we play them, there's comments and remarks. And the guy after the game is like, why are you filming anyway? You'll never be famous. You will never be famous. Just give it up. Yeah. And obviously we just laughing at him. So we called the episode.
I'm laughing at your impression. Your impression's good. I don't even know the guy.
We called the episode You'll Never Be Famous. And every time we've played them, we've used that same clip. We could potentially be facing them in a cup final this year, which we hope we get. Yeah, so that's an example. And you're always going to get, like I said, you do get doubters. Sometimes you can doubt yourself, but my whole life I've been a risk taker. My whole life I've never played it safe. So for me, I've always enjoyed the challenge. I call it a beautiful struggle sometimes, because you find yourself and it's like it's a chase, it's the game. Like it's an addiction. It's like a gene that I have. And doubting can even come from your closest. That's sometimes because they care and they want to make sure that you're doing something proper. I've just managed to have the ability to ignore the doubt, man, and just find it within myself to keep going. But yeah, You'll Never Be Famous. Check that out. It's funny. It happens, and that's the game, and that's life. But if you listen to other people's opinion, you're going to just try and please them. So we never let it affect us.
And you mentioned that it's obviously it's hard work. Like you're working at this 24/7 to get the content out and get the merch out and organise the teams and all that stuff. Has there ever been a point where you've thought, I could do with taking a step back here?
Yeah and no, because I love what I'm doing and I'm fortunate enough to be in this position, because I know what it's like when there wasn't nothing really to do. So, and yeah, sometimes because it's like, damn, there's a lot to do. I've got a lot of editing to do. Like this whole weekend I'm indoors and I'm sitting in front of the camera. But it's never a thing of I don't want to do this. It's more a thing of I need to expand the team. I need some help, boys. You know what I mean? And that's where we're at right now with Chris and George. It's like 3 of us. So just to ease the workload a bit. But yeah, I just take it on. I take it all on as a part of the game and I accept it.
You mentioned people see you guys out and about in Lewisham.
Yeah.
Do you feel that in the community? Do you feel the impact it's having?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. We're out and about and they're coming up to us showing love. It's love everywhere. And because we're from, this is the community we're from. We're not one of them people that, we can't go here, we've been here, we've been out here doing this, you know what I mean? So I think it's a very positive light in the community that we're from.
Would you take a player from somewhere else?
From Peckham. So that's a funny one because we took their main player, young Madby, and we got grief for it when we took him. Like, boys in our team weren't happy about it. But it's deeper than that. It's football. Do you know what I mean? And the message, what we're doing, is bigger than that. So we took him, and he didn't go too well for him. We sent him back, gone back to Peckham. And we played them the other day, and we started, singing about him and stuff. But it's funny because you get certain people that are kind of old school, like, are we taking it? Because he plays for our reserve team and he plays for Peckham. So there's some people that say, you got to pick a side. But again, the fact that we can talk about it and laugh about it is massive for our community. Because Lewisham and Peckham, Brixton, these areas, there's a lot of gangs in them areas, especially when I was growing up. Being from Lewisham and being from Peckham, that was two complete different sides. So the fact that we're now in our late 20s, early 30s, and we're able to say, we never lose to Peckham, and there's no backlash, shows how far the community has come. And it's uniting people, because even when we played Brixton, it went off. Do you know what I mean? Pushing and shoving on the sideline. After the game, we're shaking hands and they love what we're doing. And the community is coming stronger. We're friends with Peckham. You know, on the pitch, we're not, but off the pitch, it's love. Do you know what I mean? So for our community and what's been going on in our community over these years, it's massive. I think it's a major influence and an impact, because there's people in our team that have been involved in these situations and people know them because of that, and we're able to bring something positive to the area.
Do you think you're going to see other teams try and emulate what you're doing?
Yeah, there is. There's a few teams that are filming their games, and hopefully they get big and it helps them as well, because I know how it changes people's lives. But the characters we've got, you can't find another Big G, you can't find another Drops, Big Doug, me on commentary. Do you know what I mean? So I think we're just blessed with the diversity of our changing room.
It's a good blend, isn't it?
It's a good blend, man. And like I said, it's people from. It's not just a black team or just a white team. It's a mixture. Do you know what I mean? And everyone is comfortable together, and from all different types. Like Jazz, blonde hair, loves to skater boy. Do you know what I mean? And you got Drops, like a street boy, and you put them all together, and it's magic. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's why it's done so well. Everyone can find someone that they relate to. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what it is.
Hello there, just quickly, Who Says You Can't is brought to you by EE. No other network gives you 5G in more places, so you can access the content you love instantly in jaw-dropping quality. And speaking of content you love, back to the podcast. Something I really like is that there seems, from looking in your phone, some of your fans are Premier League players, as opposed to...
Crazy,
so we've got... Hang on, let's have a look here. Got DMs from Declan Rice. He absolutely loves it. I mean, he's just slid in.
Yeah.
He's on it. Watching the latest Don's video, killing it.
He loves it, man. I've
seen him rapping along to your stuff.
Yeah, rapping to the stuff. And he's been authentic with it. And I think we've treated him with respect as well. Like, I don't ask him for favours or anything. It's just genuine love. He's told me as soon as he hangs up his boots, he's in. Do you know
I was going to say, you've got to try and get him in.
1,000,000%, because we was going to bring him to a fives game, but it's a bit political for him. I had to tell him, because he wanted to come play fives. I was saying, Dex, I can't be responsible. If someone touches you and you get injured, you know what I mean? I don't want to be held responsible for this. But he's always hitting me up on the WhatsApp. What was the score, mate? How'd it go? When he scored against Arsenal, I think, at that West Ham ground, he FaceTimed me. He's like, I'm buzzing, mate, I'm buzzing. Who you got tomorrow? And I'm thinking, hey, Dec, you just bagged against Arsenal. Don't worry about us. We're playing in a park somewhere. Do you know what I mean? But he came to the cup final.
Oh, he came down?
Yeah, that was good of him. And it was lovely. He didn't come with no security or nothing. He mingled in with the supporters, came in our dressing room. So, yeah, man, he shows a lot of love, Declan.
And you've got, I think, Iwobi. I think I saw a message you as well. Are these guys they're just finding you?
Yeah.
They're just talking about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because a lot of them, they listen to my music as well, or they used to listen to my music back in the day. So it's weird when that happens, because especially with Iwobi, who's always like, I used to listen to you back in the day. And he put me in his team, with like his little celebrity team. Then you got Damari Gray. So it works because, like I said, a lot of my freestyle, a lot of my music was football punchlines and metaphors. And I always used to drop footballers' names. So they've all taken to it. But yeah, it's all just been authentic. They've just come in on an authentic one. It's not like I've sent them a clip. I don't know. I just don't know what it is. But I think it's football, innit, at the end of the day. And I think people can relate to it. And with my music, they probably knew about me already. And then they just kind of reach out and show love.
An interesting crossover, isn't there, I think, between like the music world and football, particularly like rap and grime and stuff. I don't quite know where it comes from, but you know, I've seen is it Danny Welbeck with hang on, I've got it on here. Yeah, and they're rapping away.
Yeah.
Where's that overlap coming from, do you think? Is it just the younger players are just into that
Possibly. I think it was entertainment business, innit? Like football, music, it's entertainment. It's like cousins. At the same time as well, maybe the genre of music is they like it. I think with social media nowadays, it just allows people to reach out and share what you're doing.
Nice to see as well, Stormzy on his Insta. Looking genuinely, absolutely thrilled to meet you.
And
Big G, I think. Is it Big G?
Yeah. Big character, Big G. He's the captain.
Yeah.
He's a skipper.
And keeper, and he's a big old unit,
big
isn't he?
goalkeeper, and he's vocal and he's physical.
Yeah.
Like, people love him. Like, they either hate him or love him, but the kids love him.
Yeah.
He's
of course, he feels iconic.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's like a big character. They come out. He does this mad thing at the end of the game where he slaps someone on the chest. But yeah, again, Stormzy showed love, calling us pioneers. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And he came out to a game because his mates were playing for the other team.
Right.
He just showed us nothing but respect. People was looking at us like we're some celebrities because he's like, got his camera out. He's like, Donny, big, you know what I mean? It's like, that's Stormzy, you know what I mean? So humble of him again. A lot of these guys as well, they're just humble and it's love. And I think it's genuine and it's real. It's just, that's what it is, do you know what I mean?
And you've obviously had a lot of success. There's loads of trophy picks and stuff on here. And on that, to you now, what does success look like? Is it more important that you win games or that you grow like the Don's brand?
Yeah, you can't hide the fact that winning on the pitch is so important. It's really important because kids like winners, do you know what I mean? And we're also, a whole point of our mind frame and what we're sharing with people is that we want to be the best and we want more and we want success. So winning is a major part of that. I can't deny that. Like, we don't go out there and think, we've got 3,000 people here, though. Well done, boys. Look, we want to win a game of football. So winning is key. But also, of course, like you said, growing the brand as well, that's massive. Being able to influence people and just be a good inspiration. But winning is very important, 1,000%.
I like this photo of you. I think you're in the post office bagging up. I assume you're bagging up merch.
Me and Big G, because we lived together, we was up bagging up this merch till like 4 a.m. in the morning, having to get up early because we used to coach in a school. So it was long hours, man. But it was literally making trips to the post office of 60, 70 parcels. It's crazy. So yeah, that's old times. But again, it just represents the growth. That's when we started realising, no, this is nuts. People are buying what we're doing. Like,
what's the best seller at the moment?
The hats always go. The black on black DON hat, and also we got longest nighty hoodies which go. But I think the hats and the hoodies, they go the most.
So you and Big G live together.
Yep.
Do you have day jobs? Have you got time?
Now we do this full time. Yeah, it's all Don's full time. We've got built an office in our garden. So literally every day is editing and content creation. It's full time and it's like 24 hours. We don't stop. Back when that picture was taken, we was working in a school, teaching PE, after school clubs, lunch clubs, and all that stuff, sports days and everything like that. But now it's just it's the Dons 24/7.
Must have been quite a moment when you thought, no, this is it. We're going to go full time on this.
Yeah, it happened when I done my knee. When I injured my knee and I had to have surgery, it meant I was going to be out of school for about a month, 2 months, which I was thinking, what I'm going to do for money. But then it came at the right time because the Dons was taking up so much of my time because editing was a long process. There was opportunities coming, having to go here and go there. I'm obviously wanting to also grow the channel by because we do 5-a-side football as well as 11-a-side, and all these things we was doing, plus trying to do my music, plus trying to sell the merch. It was just getting out of hand. I was at that point where, like you said, it's like I need to take the jump. I need to just risk it and say to myself, you know what? Let me just go full time for 12 months and just see where I'm at in 12 months. If it don't work, I'll go back to the school. Do you know what I mean? I had to make that jump. It was around December and I had to have my surgery on my knee, which meant I was going to be out of school for about 6 weeks. But I just never went back. I'd done it and I said, this is it. I'm going to go for it. So I'm very grateful, man. But it's been hard work and it is hard work. Like, there's no secrets. It's just I'm fortunate enough to enjoy what I do, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? So it's been non-stop since then, literally.
And in terms of like your original thought, so in 2017 when you were like, okay, I'm going to start filming this stuff because I want my fans of my music to connect with me a bit more. Working?
Yeah, definitely, 1,000,000%, 1,000,000%. That my followers have just grown completely, and I think it's because you're seeing me for me, or just being honest with people, being real, banter, being silly. Like, it's not always about being like a bad boy or gangster all the time. Do you know what I mean?
I was going to say, the main thing is it's funny.
It's just
like,
it's funny,
it's
funny, man. And I think people relate to it, and it's definitely helped. And obviously I'm interacting because I'm on the channel every week. Once a week I'm on there interacting with supporters. Supporters come to games, meeting them face to face. So it's definitely helped.
If you could have any pro footballer guest on a track with you, who'd you go for?
It's a good one. maybe.
You know that Declan Rice will be up for it.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you necessarily want him.
I'll probably pull in Declan because he plays in the same position as me as well.
That's nice.
Yeah, and he's English and Irish like myself. So I reckon I'll pull in Declan. But if I had to add someone else in, yeah, probably like a Ronaldinho or one of them old school Brazilians. You know what I mean? Yeah,
lovely.
Someone like that. Yeah, bring some sort of samba to it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then film the video out in Brazil.
Film the video in Brazil. Yeah, in Rio.
That's great.
Yeah.
There's a hashtag that I've seen pop up on a lot of the Don's accounts. Hashtag anything for Paula.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
We always had like a slogan, anything. We got longest 90 and we got one called anything. And anything came when we was winning 1-0 against a team, really good team. And we weren't even that good back then, but we just had heart and passion. Me and Big G was playing in the middle. Like George is a goalkeeper, but we was playing centre midfield at the time. Like we called it a no entry zone. Just wouldn't, if you got past me, you ain't getting past him. So it was just heart and passion. Win your tackles, win your headers, keep going for 90 minutes. And was 1-0 up, and there was like 10 minutes to go, and they just couldn't. Like we was clearing it off the line, everything. And Big G just started saying anything for the Dons, anything. And all the supporters started saying anything. So that's where anything came from. Then in March 2017, unfortunately, my mum passed away. It kind of transitioned into anything for Paula because we then went and won a cup final 2 weeks later. And we like in there, we just say, look, anything for the Dons, anything for Paula. And it's just lived on since then. So it represents a lot of things. Obviously, my mum, because she was the kit lady, she washed the kit, came to every game. She was a big part of my life, like major part of my life. And all of my friends knew her. She brought up everyone. We say anything for Paula, but it represents everyone that's lost a parent. Do you know what I mean? Big G's lost both parents. Malachi's lost his parents. Doug, you know what I mean? There's a lot of boys in the team that have missing parents. So when we say anything for Paula, it's not just anything for my mum, it's anything for all our mothers, you know what I mean? That we've lost someone. So that's what anything for Paula is.
So did she get to see the Don's success on YouTube or not quite?
Yeah, I'm happy, that's what I'm grateful for, because she got to see me transition my lifestyle. And she passed away a few weeks before our first cup final. So she didn't get to see the amount of people that came out. Our first cup final back in April 2017, about 800 people came, which was huge.
Wow.
It still is huge.
Yeah.
Obviously, compared to the other ones, it wasn't as big, but she was at the point where she started seeing like 50, 60 people at games, and she was realising, and she always used to message me on my WhatsApp, like, oh, you've got 60,000 subscribers, you know what I mean? So she saw where it was going, but yeah, so she did kind of see the growth.
There are some lyrics in your notes app that I saw. Are they about your mum?
Yeah, I wrote a song for my mum. I wrote a couple. One called Sleep Peacefully, and there was another one, Anything for Paula. So, that was for my mum.
And do you write a lot on just like when you're out and about on your phone? Or
like I usually get a bit creative at night time. Like, I don't sleep much, so it's at night time. My mind sort of wakes up. I put a beat on and just write to it, get the notes up on my phone, or I might think of something, note it down, and that's kind of how I do it.
You're planning to do an EP this year, yeah?
Yeah. So there'll be an EP this year. And hopefully by October we can start touring.
And a big question, when are you going to be back playing?
Man, I'm hoping the next 3 months. I'm hoping. If I just work hard and I stay consistent, I'm not going to rush it because I've been out for so long. But I hope that my body is able to play in the next 3 months. Whether I make that come back in 3 months, I'm not sure yet.
They're going to miss you on the sidelines as well.
Yeah, I know. That's what people were telling me. So I think I've bumped myself a bit. I think I don't know if I'll be able to make a full... I'm sure I'm about to put myself on a bench. Do you know what I mean? Come on for the last 15, slide tackle there, skip up, come back off. Do you know what I mean? But we have a reserve side as well who play games midweeks. So, and we have a fives team. So even if my minutes come there, fives and the X1s, we've got an X1s team. It's called like the original players that don't really get much game time anymore. So there'll be opportunities for me to play.
So are these the original players that first started playing back in 2014?
Years
and now
ago.
you've got better players
We've got all the better players in now, yeah.
Gutted for them.
Yeah, exactly. So they're happy with the that they played on Monday against Greenwich University, beat them 2-1, which is good. And they got a game coming up against Chelsea development team. Like they play a lot of unis, Essex Uni, all that stuff. So they got game time. It keeps them quiet for now.
For now,
trust me, yeah.
Okay, just to wrap things up, we're going to do a sort of rapid fire mobile deep dive.
Yep.
Ready?
Let's do it.
Get your phone out. Here we go. What music app do you use, first of all?
Spotify.
Okay. So, what was your most listened to track on Spotify in 2019? What do you think it'll be?
I don't know. I listen to so much music. I can't predict it. I'm assuming it might be a song called from Taurus Riley called She's Royal. That's what I think. So people check it out.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Like
though,
an old
'cause
school
I always
song,
feel
yeah.
like with these things, I know what I want it to be, and then it turns out I've been
Something else,
listening to
innit?
the Frozen soundtrack.
Yeah,
or
I'll
whatever.
probably save myself there. I don't know, yeah. Beauty and the Beast, I was like,
Yeah, good soundtrack, to be fair. What was the last DM you sent?
Oh, gosh. On Instagram or Twitter or...
Your choice.
We'll do Instagram. Last DM I sent... not sure I want to say that one. Poet. This guy, Poet. I said, you just live in life, bro. I messaged him on the 19th of October.
Yeah.
And he replied to me yesterday at 1:22 a.m. He said, oh, bro, I've just seen this. I said, you're just living life, bro. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
Not bad.
he needs to work on that.
Yeah, exactly.
What was your last Deliveroo order or food order?
Yesterday I got an Indian.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, chicken biryani.
Always the same one?
Always the same. No vegetable curry.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Last YouTube channel you subscribed to?
I think it was some weird one. I watched some funny stuff on YouTube.
That's the thing with YouTube. I mean,
Yeah.
you can. You can
it's this
kill
one. I think it's
hours
this
and
one here.
hours.
Speaking Brazilian language school.
Oh yeah, because you're going to Brazil in the summer, and you're thinking,
this one. yeah, that's it.
That's amazing.
Trying to pick up some Portuguese.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. If you open your browser, what was the last web page you were looking at?
Oh, look at that. Translate. Google Translate.
And Google Translate.
Yeah.
And what were you looking up?
Focada, which means focused. Because someone messaged me. Yeah.
And what about your calendar? What's coming up? What's next for for Dons, for SE Dons, and for Don Strapzy?
SE Dons. Sunday we got a PCC round 6 of the cup, which will, if we win, will put us through to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, confident.
Yeah, man, going in confident. We're using the wider squad, so some of the original players are going to come and play, which is good. Don Strapzy, an EP is on the way. I'll be in studio Friday. We're just working on music consistently. It's just busy stuff, and yeah, there'll be a lot coming.
If there's like one message that you'd like people to take away from your story, your journey with SE Dons, what would it be?
Believe in yourself. Treat people the way you like to be treated, and be honest with yourself. And I think that's about it, man. Believe in your dreams and chase your dreams. Even your closest people might doubt you. Half of the time, that's because they care for you. But you got to be tough and just believe in yourself. You know, we only live once. Work hard, and that's about it, you know. Learn Portuguese.
Yeah, learn Portuguese.
Yeah.
Get the merch out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Don Strapzy, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck
Appreciate
to you
it, brother.
and to SE Dons for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it, bro.
You, man.
Love.
Cheers.